note, in the last session, I had a little story of a surprise lesson. Hope you all read the textbook and you have the practice of reading textbook at least now. So you are also heard about your first bi-monthly test, which will be having a content of this lesson as well as grammar in it. So by the time of the test I will be finishing it. As well, today we are in our second session. Last previous session I had with new words which we came across all this in the lesson. So you will be going through the same words again and again. That you will be getting it in a PDF form which I will be sending it. We'll go to the textbook reading part and we'll have a quick recap of a surprise lesson which was written by Laurie Alcott. She's writing her own biography here, as I said last session. So what she did was, her name was Jo here. She was sitting on a sofa where she was writing a particular papers where she just scribbled till the end of the papers. After writing, she ribboned, or she folded it and she ribboned with a red ribbon. As well, she took the two writing copies in her pocket. As well, when she was writing, there was a wooden log where two rats were just running behind her head, and we saw the rat's name was Scramble. Yeah, so that was the rat's name there. As well, she sat behind the sofa, resting herself. She just checked what all she wrote, and her small exclamatory mark was like balloons in middle. She underlined a couple of words which was very interesting, or she made it bright. As well, here she walks up and down. First of all, she takes a mini cab where she can go to the marketplace to just present this particular written things to the publisher. So she goes up and down on the stairs, and a dentist is watching her in the opposite building where he comes in and asks for, he'll be asking her a help. So we'll go on with the lesson now. Open up your textbooks and put your fingers where I read. So we are in page 2 today, and we ended up with this. I will read the last paragraph or last 3 lines where we ended up. It's like her to come along, but if she has a bad time, she will need someone to help her home. So it was a dentist who was speaking to Jo here, and Jo had an artificial tooth where a dentist thought that she's come for the checkup and she's alone today, and if she's in a problem or if she's in a pain, she have to go back alone. So now we'll see the further story. In 10 minutes, Jo came running downstairs with a very red face. So as I told you, there was a staircase where it was very dirty, and Jo was walking up and down for a couple of times, and now the dentist just came to speak to her, but she just came down running with her red face. And the general appearance of a person who had just passed through a trying ordeal. Ordeal is nothing but an exercise of some sort. When she saw the young gentleman, she looked anything but pleased and passed him with a nod. But he followed, asking with an air of sympathy, Did you have a bad time? So here she saw the dentist, and dentist is conversing with her. Means the dentist is talking to Jo here. He was asking, last time when you had come for the checkup, did you have a bad time? Was it a bad time for you? You got through quickly. You just came down quickly. What was the reason? He was just asking her. Yes, thank goodness. You will not say anything about it at home, will you? Not a word. So the conversation finished about the teeth, but something else was going on. We'll come across the further things in your next part here when I read out. But the dentist was curious, asking her, will you tell about your work at home? So she did not take a word. She was just silent. Well, I have left 2 stories with a newspaper man. And he's to give his answer next week, whispered Jo in her confident ears. So what happened? She did not take a word when dentist asked her, will you tell about your work at home? She did not even tell a word. After that, after some couple of minutes, she started speaking. She told, I have given 2 stories to the newspaper person where he was a publisher. See, usually when you write the stories, you at least publish in a newspaper, nor else it is the weekly magazines. So she had dropped 2 paper near the newspaper person, where this newspaper person will be answering her back only after 2 weeks. Next week, whispered Jo. She just whispered in a very low voice. She just told this to the dentist. Hooray! For Miss March, the celebrate American author. Well, Miss March was an American author here. She had written a story of her might be, or a concept about Miss March here, and she her exclamatory, that was hooray. When you feel happy, you tell hooray. Cried Laurie. Laurie is now the dentist's name is Laurie. Throwing up his hat and catching it again. So when Jo told that I have already given 2 stories to the newspaper for publishing, Jo was just told and she kept quiet. But Laurie, that is the dentist, might be he is a friend of Jo, so he was very happy about the achievement of Jo. So he just threw his cap on the air, and that is what the expression which he gave when he felt happy. Throwing up his hat and catching it again. Hush, it don't come to anything, I dare say, but I could not rest till I had tired, and I said nothing about it because I did not want anyone else to be disappointed. So Jo was also not so familiar about writing, but this was her first work which she's done. So she told that I do not want her to disappoint at home telling that I am writing a story. If it is not published, I don't want to hurt anyone. See, once you write, it will be checked, it will be gone through, then only be published. So all this work should have been done. Then she will get to publish her story. So Jo did not tell anything at home because she did not want to disappoint her sisters nor her mother. It won't fail. Why, Jo? Your stories are works of Shakespeare compared to half the rubbish that is published every day. Don't it be fun to see them in print? And shall we feel proud to our author? So now Laurie, that is the dentist, is conversing or speaking to Jo. What is he telling? He's telling, why will it fail? You have done such a great work. I can compare your writing with a great writer, Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a great writer. He's an author as well. So your work, that is your writing, can be compared to his work. So nice you write. Other than other nuisance, that is rubbish, newspaper things will be published. Instead of that, yours is a very good story and I am proud of it. Jo's eyes sparkled. Jo was also very happy to hear this. She also was, for that happiness, her eyes were sparkling. For it is always pleasant to be believed in, and a friend's praise is always sweeter than a dozen of newspaper puffs. Puffs is articles. Have you seen in the newspaper there is article part which is being written? So it is like that. Don't you feel happy, children, when someone says, no, you have done very good work, and then too it is from your friend who is appreciating you? Yes, definitely you feel very happy. Someone is praising you, someone is telling, shabash, you have done a very good work, then you feel very happy, right? So this Joe also felt the same way. For a week or two, Joe behaved so queerly. Queerly is a different behavior. She was, she was thinking whether my story will be published or not. So she used to act very quarreling type. She used to get angry very soon if someone speaks to her. So her behavior was very different in this week. That her sisters were quite bewildered, she rushed to the door when the postman rang. Was rude to Mr. Brooke. Brooke is a postman here. Postman's name is Brooke. So postman usually rings bell, when they come. Yes. So when Joe heard this bell ringing noise, she just ran out of the door. And she was very rudely behaving with Mr. Brooke. Mr. Brooke is postman here. Whenever they meet, would sit looking at Meg with woe-begone face. So Meg is her first sister. Woe-begone is sad face. Children will end up the session here today. As well, I will come back with the same story in the next session. Thank you, children. Stay safe. Please have a practice of reading the text again and again. Thank you.